Hello everybody, I'm back. Dr. K.K. Agarwal, President Heartcare Foundation of India and Confederation of Medical Association of Asia and Oceania. You are watching Med Talks with Dr. K.K. Agarwal, COVID edition 36th episode. The basic purpose of this episode is to take the fear out from the mind of the people and try to normalize the life as much as possible. Before I go to the subject of the day, let's have the headlines. A first trimester miscarriage Mumbai has been linked to COVID-19. That means it was found that the infection has carried through the umbilical cord to the placenta and may have involved the child. If that's so, that's an important news to debate. Phase 2 clinical trials of the Oxford and AstraZeneca vaccine being conducted by the Pune-based Serum Institute of India will start this week. We all are waiting for the vaccines to be available by the end of the year. In a positive turnaround, UP sees first week of more recoveries than new viruses. Good news for the UP. US approves plasma therapy to treat COVID-19, with President Trump pronouncing it to be a powerful therapy. There was a debate going on for the last 48 hours when the CDC had initially halted on the approval. COVID-19 cases reappear in Singapore in its largest foreign workers dormitory. Take it or not, this virus is not going to leave you. Let's go to the subject of the day. Remove the fear of the corona. Let's face it, with the dance, reopening of the dance, shifting from sympathetic to parasympathetic mode, using dancing as a methodology. And third is virtual dance. To discuss about this subject, we have an important guest, Padma Shri Guru Shobna Narayan, acknowledged and she is a guru of her art style and outstanding dancer, a consume and an artist and choreographer par excellence. She is not only India's most celebrated Kathak guru, but she is also a living legend. The footsteps she is leaving behind will be followed by generations to come. Namaskar, madam.
नमस्कार, बहुत ही अच्छा लगा आपसे आपके प्रोग्राम में आकर. वंडरफुल.
थैंक यू मैडम. जब भी मैंने आपको बुलाया हमेशा आई हैं आप.
Well, anytime. You're doing such wonderful work, doctor. Amazing work, and we are all with you. We admire you and we all support you and we are all with you.
At the moment, I want to touch three different topics. The first one is virtual dancing as a career, as a new avenue. Second topic will be reopening of the dancing. How do we reopen? I'm sorry. And the third will be, we will be talking about dancing as a methodology to take the fear out of the mind of the people. That means relaxing with dancing. Let's have first, how will people make virtual dancing as a career?
Well, I would say that today, this particular phase that we have been witnessing since end of March has been an eye-opener and also a learning experience for several of us dancers. Earlier, we were not attuned to the online mode of teaching or reaching out. Some were, but really it came in full force because of this extraordinary situation that we've all been thrown in. Now, to make virtual dancing as a career, it is a challenge. It is a challenge. It also depends on the mindset of the performer. However, it is not the yardstick to be able to judge the skill, actual artistry of the performer. Because that actual skill and artistry is only witnessed on in a physical interaction, because that is the place where you actually see it happening. Here it is a completely different mode. It is a question of how well you showcase what you're presenting. So now we've had things like virtual performances, full-fledged performances. Uh, if you do it to recorded music, now I'm speaking as a classical dancer and a very traditional classical dancer. When you're doing it a virtual performance, uh, with that you need live musicians for that kind of an energy and interaction. You cannot have your percussionist, say a tabla player, on in his home, the singer in his home, the instrumentalist in his home, and then and the dancer in her home, and then expect a very beautiful online performance. That's not possible, because you will have time lags. You will have, and so with this time lag, which is uh, which is the part of which is part of a technology system, that so the way the sound waves travel, the speed and the light waves. So I think that is not possible. So in other words, we zoom down to a recorded music performance. Now, for a recorded music performance, it's very pre-planned, pre-fixed, and there's no scope for innovation or spontaneity as far as a classical dancer is concerned. A classical musician can still do it. That means a vocalist, because you do have the electronic tabla and the electronic tanpura. So a vocalist would be able to do it. Uh, an instrumentalist, yes, only with the virtual tabla, the electronic tabla, would be able to do it. But that kind of energy which comes suddenly with change of tempo, with a kind of an interaction between the percussionist and the sitarist, say, or the sarodist or the flute person, that will not be possible. And now, speaking as a Kathak dancer, for us, that kind of interactive mode, as well as also the mode of improvisation, of upaj, of being able to uh, give vent to your feelings and to explore the myriad uh, uh, aspects available to you in that large canvas, that large horizon of expression, that would also not be possible. So it is only a pre-recorded performance, or to record, that means recorded music, that has its own. Now, again, it is a question of how well it is uh, conveyed. I've been watching a few performances. Now, when it is the a camera angle happens, you don't have two or three cameras, so that you get कि आप footwork हो रहा है, so you get the footwork, the concentration on the feet, or the concentration on what your facial expressions are. If it is you get a vertical mode only, or whichever way, it's a full length or it's just this much. So you're missing out on other aspects. So in other words, it's boiling down to those people, those artists who have the wherewithal and the capability of a multi-camera system, of a studio at home. So then in a pre-recorded, even with pre-recorded music, these kind of virtual programs would be possible and would be visually appealing. Otherwise, performances are happening. So that is still going on. But it cannot be a replacement for an actual, because the physical part of it is different, physical presence, and this is different. But all said and done, on a happier note, we've got now two different modes available for those who can do, are able to do it. So at least it's there. You are reaching out to people. You are connecting with your rasikas, with the audience. So through your virtual mode, so it is there. But to say that a virtual mode will replace a physical mode, no.
No,
It will be an
it's
additional.
always an
It will be
add-on.
an.
Yes, it's
It'll be an
always an
add-on.
add-on. It's a challenge. It's
Yeah,
an add-on.
it's an
We are
add-on.
facing the same thing in our patient-doctor relationship, and we are
Yeah,
combining these things together. But I
yeah.
come
So
back to
it
my
is happening.
simple.
It is happening. So we have an add-on. We are blessed with another medium available.
So I'll come back to now slightly a step further. I
Hmm.
say the dancing has two components: the audience and the performance.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's keep the audience out.
Hmm.
Let's say audience is virtual. So your 75% of your problem is over to take care of the audience.
When you say
75%. No, no,
no,
no. To
sir.
take care of
Okay.
prevention of COVID. From COVID point of view,
Huh.
your major hassle that my audience will come or not, will they develop corona or not. So that is over. Now
Okay.
I take care of the stage. Now I take care of the stage. In the stage, physical distancing is possible. Sanitization is possible. Masking is possible, unless people who are singing.
Even people who are dancing, if you're masked, what kind of
No,
expression are you going to show?
I'm coming. I'm not coming to the dancer as yet. I'm coming to the background people. All those
Okay.
people who are doing a tabla or
Huh.
who are doing the music, masking is possible. Okay.
Yes, except for the vocalist. Except for the vocalist.
The vocalist can be at a distance of 6 feet.
Yeah,
Rest all can be at a distance of 3 feet.
yeah,
Now the dancer themselves has more than 9 feet to themselves, so they need not wear the mask. There is
right.
no guidelines that dancer, singer, or a that means if you are jogging, running, cycling, you don't need to wear a mask. So
Absolutely.
my first step is a single dance performance. I'll come back to multiple dance performance. So in a single dance performance, the whole stage is to the dancer. So enough space, even if she's singing, even if she's whatever she produced, zero risk. All those people who are sitting in the background can also sit in the background without being visible. If you really want to be,
No,
to
no,
keep
no.
them,
In a classical performance, they are visible. In
okay.
a
If
classical,
they are
because they're
visible, if
equal,
they are visible,
equal supporting. Huh.
if they are visible, they can be sitting slightly separated with the 3 feet distance.
Oh, they always are. Because major part of the stage is always taken by the dancer who needs the space. So the musicians are always in a traditional performance, always seated to the side of the stage.
On that
But
side,
but
they
on
can
one side,
maintain. So on
yeah,
one side, they can be on the both the sides and maintain a distance.
yeah,
So there is no reason medically.
yeah,
There is no reason medically dancing cannot start.
absolutely. I
I'm
agree
talking
with you
about the
totally.
medical view. No, I'll
I
come back.
agree.
So therefore, the second step will be dancing without an audience. Third will be dancing with an audience in an open platform. That means open theater. And the fourth will be dancing in an auditorium. This has to go like stages like that. In the first is has to be dancing. So all those people who are doing a Zoom meeting, another meeting, people can perform in a studio, well open studio with everything. and then your performance can come on an electronic virtual media. People
Absolutely.
can. So there is no reason that we cannot start this. This is one.
Absolutely. In fact,
Now,
may I tell you that this is starting. It is starting now because I've just been asked to perform like that in with my musicians, but of course at a safe distance from each other. So we are physically there, but it's being streamed to a virtual audience.
great. So I'll come back next. कि दिल्ली में दिल्ली सरकार के हिसाब से 30% लोगों को एंटीबॉडीज पॉजिटिव हैं। हो सकता है आपके आधे म्यूजिशियंस को कोरोना हो चुका हो।
अभी तक तो नहीं हुआ।
नहीं, कैसे मालूम आपको? बिना टेस्ट किए कैसे मालूम?
हाँ,
मैं तो
वो तो
उनकी
मेरे
बात
लिए भी जाता है, मेरे लिए भी जाता है, वो आपके लिए भी जाता है, वो सभी के लिए होता है।
इसलिए जितने भी इंडस्ट्री है वो अपने एंटीबॉडी टेस्ट कराएं। अगर पॉजिटिव है तो वैसे ही बल्ले बल्ले हो गए। ठीक है ना? सो आज नहीं तो कल, in another 2 months, 40% of the public will be positive for corona antibodies. डर निकल गया? एक और डर निकल गया उसके साथ में जो है। तो आप क्या करेंगे? एक नेगेटिव और एक जिसका एंटीबॉडी पॉजिटिव है वो ऐसे बिठाएंगे कि किसी को कोई रिस्क ही खत्म हो जाएगा।
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल।
तो ये कौन बीच में निकल आए, इसके अंदर में डर निकल।
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल।
परफॉर्मेंस इज लेस देन हाफ एन आवर, कैरीज नो रिस्क।
अच्छा,
परफॉर्मेंस
गुड टू नो।
हाँ, सो परफॉर्मेंसेज ऑफ लेस देन हाफ एन आवर, जैसे हम लोग सर्जरी करते हैं तो हमारी गाइडलाइन से आधा घंटे में सर्जरी खत्म करो।
But may I ask a counter question? Why half an hour?
Yes. Why?
Why half an hour performance? Why? My counter question to you.
Yes, very good. Why half an hour is because there is a, जैसे किसी आदमी का शादी होती है तो शादी के बाद में 2 साल लगते हैं बच्चे पैदा करने में। 2 साल के अटेम्प्ट के बाद में, इन ईच अटेम्प्ट देयर आर मिलियंस ऑफ स्पर्म, तो 2 साल के अटेम्प्ट के बाद में एक स्पर्म बच्चा पैदा करता है। उसी प्रकार से आधा घंटे के वायरस लोड चाहिए, उसमें से एक वायरस अंदर घुसेगा। दैट इज कॉल्ड कॉन्टैक्ट टाइम। टीबी में वो 8 घंटे का है, टीबी में वो 8 घंटे का है। सो कैजुअल मीटिंग कैन नॉट कॉज कोरोना वायरस। सो इफ आई एम वॉकिंग थ्रू ए कॉरिडोर and somebody is standing there, I cannot get it. So on the road, I cannot get it. On the platform, I cannot get it. On a park, I cannot get it. I require a minimum half an hour of interaction.
Oh, interesting. Good to know.
15 minutes to half an hour. So therefore, all competitions can start. Dancing competition can start. Because they all dancing competition never is of half an hour.
The maximum is 7, 8, 10 minutes. Yeah.
टीम आई करके इधर से आई, डांस किया, इधर से चली गई।
बिल्कुल।
और सीधा अपने घर चले गए।
बिल्कुल।
So dancing competitions can start because medically it is not easy. You cannot get the infection for, we say 15 minutes to 30 minutes, minimum 15 minutes, maximum 30 minutes हम लेके चलते हैं। 15 मिनट तो 100% सेफ है। तो 15 से 30 मिनट हम सेफ पीरियड बोलते हैं। तो एक और मौका मिल गया आपको डांस करने का। ठीक है, एक और मौका आपके साथ।
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल।
दूसरा ये है कि एक मेथोडोलॉजी है जो यूएस और सिंगापुर कर रहा है, उसे बोलते हैं पूल्ड टेस्टिंग। तो जो कि पूल टेस्टिंग का मतलब है, आज आपकी परफॉर्मेंस है, मान लीजिए आज आपका कंपटीशन है और 40 लोग पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं, तो 40 लोगों के सैंपल को पूल करके उसका एंटीजन टेस्ट करके 1 घंटे में रिपोर्ट आ जाएगी कि सारे नेगेटिव हैं जी। एक और रेस खत्म हो गया।
इंटरेस्टिंग, वेरी गुड।
मैं तो आपको वो बता रहा हूँ, एक एवेन्यू दे रहा हूँ व्हाई पीपल लाइक अस कैन सिट टुगेदर एंड मेक ए गाइडलाइन।
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल।
हमारे यहाँ पे कॉन्सेप्ट है अतिथि देवो भवा।
बिल्कुल,
वो एक इम्पोर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है, बट विल टॉक अबाउट इट आफ्टर ए शॉर्ट ब्रेक। आप देख रहे हैं मैं टॉक्स विद डॉक्टर के अग्रवाल 7 PM शो, और हम बातचीत कर रहे हैं गुरु शोभना नारायण जी से रीओपनिंग ऑफ डांसिंग स्कूल्स। और एक सिंपल सा एक मेथडोलॉजी है मैडम, जिसे बोलते हैं सोशल इंजीनियरिंग।
बिल्कुल।
दैट सोशल इंजीनियरिंग इज अतिथि देवो भव। That anybody, suppose we are doing a dancing. Okay, you have 10 people to perform, and 10 people in the background, 20 people. One way we have talked about is there's pooled antigen testing.
Absolutely.
Now, whenever they come, हम अतिथियों के सबसे पहले पैर धुलवाते हैं।
बिल्कुल।
हमने उनको शू कवर दे दिया, तो एक सोर्स ऑफ इन्फेक्शन जीरो हो गया। फिर हमने अतिथियों के पैर के बाद में हाथ धुलवाते हैं, तो हमने उनको सैनिटाइजर दे दिया, भाई हमारे सामने हाथ धो।
बिल्कुल।
फिर हमारे यहाँ पे जो छठोपचार पूजा है उसमें मुंह को साफ करते हैं, तो हमने उनको पोविडन आयोडीन का एक पाउच दे दिया कि गार्गल कर लो, तो पोविडन आयोडीन से मुंह में जितने वायरसेस हैं वो मर गए।
क्या बात है, बिल्कुल। और ये हमारी ट्रेडिशनल है। बिल्कुल
उसी की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं, छठोपचार पूजा की बात ही कर रहा हूँ।
बिल्कुल।
उसके बाद में हम उन्हें मिष्ठान देते हैं।
बिल्कुल।
तो हमने उनको एक मिष्ठान दिया और चेक किया, मीठे का टेस्ट आया, तो बोले नहीं आया, बाहर। बिकॉज लॉस ऑफ टेस्ट इज नंबर 1 कॉज ऑफ कोरोना। फिर हमने उनके ऊपर इत्र छीटा, स्मेल आई क्या, बोले नहीं आई, बोले तुम बाहर, तुम्हारे को कोरोना है।
बिल्कुल।
लॉस ऑफ स्मेल एंड लॉस ऑफ,
फिर वो लॉस ऑफ स्मेल भी हो गया।
तो लग रहा है हमारा स्वागत हो रहा है, हम कोरोना चेक कर रहे हैं। फिर हमने उनको नमस्ते किया नीचे झुक के, तो जैसे ही उन्होंने कुछ बोला उनका वायरस मेरे ऊपर से निकल गया, होगा भी तो मैंने फेस टू फेस नहीं करी। और फिर हमने अब उनको आगे जाके दूर बिठा दिया ताकि फेस टू फेस मीटिंग ना हो। दिस इज कॉल्ड सोशल इंजीनियरिंग। सारे रिस्क कहाँ है? वेयर इज द रिस्क?
एग्जैक्टली, आई एग्री विथ यू टोटली डॉक्टर। और हमें जरूर वी हैव टू नाउ स्टार्ट spreading the word around so that it starts, the fear psychosis, which is there, which I unfortunately see in a lot of people today. So I think it will sort of mitigate that, it will sort of abate, and we will be able to come back to some kind of normalcy, albeit in a different way.
I says, even if you develop it, so what?
Yeah.
So what?
So what? Exactly.
So what?
Don't we get flu, yet we are out of it? Don't we sort of get our usual, the seasonal viral, we are out of it? So we do. There was a time when we got something called, what was it? I mean, whatever it is. So seasonally we do.
Everything.
So getting ill is also part of the system, which we've got used to it since we have come over it. Yes, there is a little bit more compared to, say, a normal flu, a little bit more of a risk, but that also depends on your own inner physical condition. If anyway, your own inner physical condition is weak and you don't have much immunity, you will be subject to a lot of different kinds of virus, not necessarily even COVID.
So remember that prevent it as much as you can, and why not? But if you get it, so what?
So
everybody
exactly.
So what? I will also get it. I'll also come through. I'll face it with a smile. I come back to the last segment of our discussion, and that's her field. How dancing helps as a meditative exercise. How dance is a full yoga. How dance can shift you from sympathetic to parasympathetic mode. And even those people who develop corona, if medically we allow them to dance in their room, can they do it? What type of a dancing they can do, so that by 9 days when they come out with a perfection in some form of dance. I'm talking about those people, dancers who develop corona, and medically we say exercise is allowed to some segment, to some we say is rest, to some we say your exercise is allowed. How can they use it as a time to excel themselves? 9 days to yourself, all day meditating, come back with an excellence.
May I share a couple of experiences with you? A few of my students have contracted corona, and it was amazing that in spite of that, they were in their online class with me every day, every single day, except one was advised, not so much of physical exercise. So, but the fact is, she was looking forward to it. We were doing, and there is something in Kathak we call padhan. You know that because we have to say it ourselves, the patterns ourselves, and then dance it out. She was perfecting that part of it. Another one could do movements, etc., and she does. But what both of them said that what it helped them, dance helped them to be mentally alert, active, and inner strength. It gave them courage, inner strength, as well. And that inner strength, mental strength, gave them also physical fitness, and they were able to come back very, very soon onto their feet because they never had time to brood. They were not in a state of depression because dance took them away from that state of depression. So they were not even in that state of depression. And that is the reason why. So I think dance, in a way, gave them an outlet, an avenue to express themselves, to be with people, with everyone. So they were not only physically isolated in their room, closed room, they were interacting. They were interacting, and they were interacting positively and learning in the process and perfecting one part of their dance pieces, whatever. We've had so many discussions on different aspects of Natya Shastra, on different aspects of different, because today with the new education policy, there was huge discussion going on that how is it. So we discussed every threadbare on the different aspects. So there's so much to learn, so much to do, and I must say that dance, first of all, gives them a positive outlook. So the moment you're positive in your outlook, that positivity radiates within. It's sort of somewhere it helps in your own mental and physical well-being, towards that mental and physical well-being, and helps you to get over those 9 days and yet come out as a very strong. It gives you endurance. It gives you a lot of inner strength, and a lot of courage to face a situation. I think music or dance or any art form, it has I've seen that it always gives you a lot of endurance, a lot of courage, a lot of positivity to be able to face all challenges, overcome all challenges, and make an adverse situation into an advantageous situation. So I think that has been a beautiful experience of people who have not been affected by COVID, but also those who have been affected by COVID,
So coming back
because
to one
they've
more,
come out faster.
yes, coming back to, we said one formula of half an hour. Okay, there is another formula that after 9 days you are non-contagious from day one.
Hmm.
So from day one of symptom, after on ninth day, you are
Hmm.
non-infectious, non-contagious. So
Okay.
it's only a story of
Then what?
9 days.
Wait. What happens
Yeah.
to those cases that I've been reading? They've come back, etc., etc., etc.
No,
They've
no,
gone
no,
back, and
no.
then gone back again.
Ninth
And
day, ninth
a
day, you are
relapse.
not.
There's been a relapse.
There cannot be a relapse. No relapse is known till today. Uh, After ninth day, you are non-infectious. There's a difference between
Okay.
infectious and disease. 9
Yeah.
दिन के बाद में आप किसी दूसरे को नहीं कर सकते,
Okay.
even if your antigen is positive.
Okay. Okay.
Even if your
Then.
test is positive. So test positivity has nothing to do with infectiousness.
Okay. Okay. That's
वायरस
good.
हमारे पास में कोई ऐसा टेस्ट नहीं है जिसमें हम वायरस को देखते हो. हम वायरस को, एंटीजन को देख रहे हैं. Antigen can remain positive for 3 months. But 9वें दिन में you are non-infectious. Therefore 9 दिन क्यों तो आप साल में 4 नवरात्रे बनाते हो, एक और बना लो. और 9 दिन तो इतना ज्यादा नहीं है. 9 दिन का अभ्यास तो आपको परफेक्ट बनाएगा. 9 दिन is not difficult.
Bilkul, it's not much at all.
After 9 days, for next 5 days, you are meeting your family, and after 14 days, you are a free bird outside the house. So आज की डेट में ये जो सेकंड मैसेज है, पहला आधा घंटे वाला, दूसरा 9 दिन वाला. 9 दिन के अंदर में फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपका परफॉर्मेंस है और आज आपको कोविड हो भी गया, सो व्हाट? अगर आपकी परफॉर्मेंस 10 दिन के बाद में, you'll say I'm coming. Build a confidence in the mind of the people that don't take it as 9 days are nothing. 9 days are nothing. And actually it is 6 days. Actually it is 6 days. By the time you come to know, 3 दिन तो निकल गए.
You know, it is not, Dr. Saab, it's not the patient who's gone through it. It's not the COVID affected person who's bothered about it or who's afraid. They would be very, very courageous. What is that this message of yours is very, very important for the common man who are so scared. That is the most important, that to be able, if it gets into their head, that look, after 9 days, the risk, you know, that person is not infectious, so why aren't you behaving, you know, I mean, being able to talk or meet that person. So that is important.
I am going to end by saying this. I am having 4-hour sessions every day. मैं हर सेशन में एक फैमिली के, उनके बच्चों से, उनके पेरेंट्स से मिलवाता हूँ अपने सामने वर्चुअली.
क्या बात है.
एंड क्या होता है, कई बारी तो ऐसे हो, मैंने देखे हैं बच्चे डर रहे हैं, नहीं पापा से मिलेंगे तो कोविड हो जाएगा. इतने डरे हुए हैं. तो मैं अपने सामने बोलता हूँ उनको, बच्चों पापा को हक करो, हस्बैंड वाइफ को, पेरेंट्स को. मतलब दे आर सो स्केयर्ड. 45 दिन से हस्बैंड और वाइफ दोनों पॉजिटिव है, अलग अलग कमरों में रह रहे हैं. क्यों भैया, दोनों पॉजिटिव हो, इकट्ठे रहो.
बिल्कुल.
और आजकल तो रिवर्स आइसोलेशन हो गया है. जिनकी उम्र 65 साल से ज्यादा है, आपने उनको बंद कर दिया कमरे में, बाहर नहीं निकलना.
और जिनको और जरूरी है कि लोगों से मिलना,
वो बाहर निकले, जिनसे बाहर निकलना मुश्किल है. So the message is very clear. Let me end by saying and thanking our guest today that today or tomorrow, sports, arts have to open up.
May I suggest something? We can also have it in open air theaters, not necessarily in closed auditorium.
Yes, open theater is the best answer. अगर आप open theater में करें तो audience भी आ सकती है. And so before going to the auditorium, go to the open complexes, open air theaters, and you will find the answer. So
and the shart hai ki audience should not be carrying that, harboring the fear psychosis. Or Dr. Saab, you have today given all these aspects, which I'm sure will help most of the audience, members of the public, to get rid of a large part of their fear psychosis.
So I'm going to say that जिन लोगों को डर लगता है वो ही सिर्फ डांस को देखने आए, क्योंकि डांस को देखते हुए इतने खो जाएंगे.
बिल्कुल.
डांस देखने के बाद में जब उनको लगेगा अरे कुछ नहीं हुआ, तभी उनका डर निकलेगा.
बिल्कुल.
Question is, we have to live with it. This is one thing which we need to learn to live with it. Yes, prevent it as much you can. Simple 3 preventions: masking when necessary, hand washing, and a physical distancing. WHO recently has said for countries where 6 feet distancing is not possible, 3 feet distancing is sufficient, provided you wear a mask. Therefore, in an audience, 3 feet distancing is possible. You make a 3 feet all around. You can have 25%. It's like a balcony now. Now the balcony will be like, you will be sitting with the distancing, so it will be like a balcony, and rest of the people can enjoy it at home virtually. Sooner or later, dancing has to open up, and I request Madam Shobna Narayan to pick up few like-minded people, who all of them who are eminent in the society. They can sit together, frame guidelines. Government today has no time. The reason being, government concern is a common man. Government concern is not an entertainment. Government concern is to take care life of the people. So therefore, when it comes to entertainment, it will be the last priority of the government, and we understand that. That's the government job should be, to reopen the entertainment industry.
No, but
Our
let me,
job to
when,
come forward.
may I
Our
say,
job to
I'm
come
sorry.
forward. Yes.
Because even entertainment does not mean that it is without people. There are people who are affected by it. Their livelihood is affected by it.
Therefore, I'm
So
saying is,
sooner or later, even these people are very badly affected with their livelihood.
therefore, I did a meeting with NSD. I picked up all the artists of NSD and I did a complete Zoom meeting with them. There were around 300 of them. And I also talked to them, how can they open up? The question is, cultural opening up has to be initiated by the people who matters, built up a confidence, and then, because government today will not open schools, whatever you do. They should have opened it, but they will not, because government has to go taking consensus of everybody. But when it comes to a dancer, suppose you want to give a performance and you invite people, it's a voluntary, it's not mandatory. So when government does it, it becomes a rule. Here it becomes a mandatory. Somewhere or the other, people like you need to sit together, come out with guidelines, take the fear out of the mind of the people, and open up, and open up. Thank you very much, Madam.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
And all
Thank
my
you.
audience who are watching this program, thank you for attending this. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. with another show of Med Talks with Dr. K.K. Agarwal. Namaskar.
Namaskar.